Hello everybody. Hola, annyeonghaseyo, bonjour, ni hao, namaste. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am here with a book tag and it's been a very long time and this is the first book tag of this year that I'm doing, and this is called mid-year freakout book tag. And as half the year is gone and there are a lot of books that I have read, and this is the time to just categorize each books and know which one is your favorite, which one is not. So I'm here to do that book tag, and this book tag is not like the usual ones. It is a big updated, and this is done by Jess from Jess the Reader, and I have used his questions for this book tag, and I will link down his video so that you can check out his videos too. So without further ado, let's get started and let's see what are the questions that are in this book tag. So the very first question is, which is the best book that you have read so far this year? And I will go with Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Garmes, and I absolutely love that book because it has a wonderful character, and I just love Elizabeth Zott. She is the fantastic protagonist that I have ever read in any book, and I just love her as well as respect her because she is the epitome of a good character. Elizabeth Zott is my fictional hero because she is wonderful character, and this book is a historical fiction which deals with this woman Elizabeth Zott, who is struggling to get her position and to emerge as a scientist in the men dominated world. And I love everything about this book and every single page of this book because Elizabeth Zott is a character that every woman want to be, and she is just great because she has the character. She shows the empathies and the emotion in a very different way that any ordinary women show, and that's why I really like that character, and it is my absolute favorite book of the year. Next, what's most disappointed book you have read so far? And I will go with Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute by Talia Hibbert. And I've read Talia Hibbert previous books and I absolutely loved her books, but this book does not resonate with me, and I don't know what was the use of writing this book because there was not a very great story going on, and there was not a very unique plot in this book, and this was just about teenage people who are just getting ahead with their life and their goals and asking for a better future, but I don't see anything specific about this book. And the one more book that I would like to mention is The Happy Place by Emery Henry, and I know a lot of people love that book, but again I did not find what was so unique about this book, and it may be unpopular opinion, but I really did not like that book. I had expectations with this book that I was thinking that this was going to be a friendship book, but it was not a friendship book, and the story was not a very unique thing for me, and that's why I think this was a very disappointing read for me. Next up, what's the best book recommendation you have received so far this year? And when it comes to book recommendation, no one recommend me books. It's just all by myself. I just read book. I recommend books to other people. No one recommend me books, so there was no recommendation going on here. So this question is kind of just pass on. Next, what was your first DNF of the year? And I will go with The Mermaid and Mrs. Hancock, and this was one of my most anticipated read. I just really wanted to get done with this book. It was sitting on my shelf for a very long time, and I was having a high expectation for this book, but the book does not work with me, and I just tried to grasp the story. It was just a historical book again, but this did not speak to me, and I just tried really hard to get through this because I finished this book at almost 234 pages and it is 400 pages long. So I think I was just in the middle of the book because I was pushing myself to just finish this book and get done with it to understand what the story is really all about, but I could not do this, and that's why this was the first book that I DNF'd this year. Next is a new release from this year that you have read and your thoughts on it, good or bad. And I will go with Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabriela Zevin, and I have a complicated feelings for this book as the story is complicated too, and I can't say that this is my favorite book, but because of its complexities and because of this is not like a simple story that you read every day. This is a simple story, but it is very unique in its way, and that's why it is going to stay with me for a very long time. A book that came out in the first half of the year that you want to read, and a book that is coming out in the next half of the year that you are anticipating. And a book that came out in the first half of the year that I want to read is Atalanta by Jennifer Saint, and I have read Electra by this author, and I absolutely loved this because I'm into Greek mythologies. I love reading about Greek mythologies, and this is another Greek mythology character that I'm just looking forward to read. And the book that is coming out in the next half of the year that I'm anticipating is A Family Lore by Elizabeth Esivodo, and I have loved her previous books and her work is just amazing, so I'm just looking forward to read this story too. What genres have you read most from this year? And according to the Storygraph states, I have read the contemporary books this year so far. Do you think that your reading taste have changed or shifted at all this year? Yes, yes, my reading taste have absolutely changed a bit. I can't say that it has changed completely, but it has changed a bit. Previously, I really was into hate to love romances, but now it is kind of boring to me because when you read a hate to love romance, you know that what was going to happen at the end because there is nothing plot twist or any story changes. You know every step that this is going to happen at the end, so that's why it have gone boring for me. And instead of that, I am into like grumpy sunshine romance these days, and I find it more readable than the hate to love romances. So absolutely my reading taste have changed a bit. Next, if you set any bookish goal for yourself this year, and how are they going? Yes, absolutely. I set up a lot of goals this year for my reading experience. First is Goodread challenge. I had 50 books in to read in this challenge, and I have completed that so far because I have read more than 50 books, and the challenge is already complete. Other than that, I have a goal to have a short review books that I wanted to create, and it is also finished, and I have done my reading stats here and it is already completed. And one more thing that I wanted to do this year was to keep a reading journal, and this reading journal is also successful for me. It is going quite well for me. So yeah, I've just finished my reading goals so far this year. What book format have you been reading this year so far? And I'm into audiobook this year, so I have heard a lot of audiobooks and I'm listening to them every day because it's a secret. I just got an open source where I can listen to audiobooks for free, and that's why I'm listening a lot of audiobooks these days. Finally, a book you have read so far this year that you feel embodies the vibes of your reading year. So I will just go with a book called A Man Called Ove, because I'm in a stage of life where I needed this book and I just read it at a very good time. And this year I'm into kind of like mental health, and I just wanted to read about things about loneliness and being alone and all those stuffs, and this book resonates with my mood completely, and this is the book that just embodies with my vibe of reading about life and experience and being lonely and being loving yourself. So this is the book that resonates with me. So we are at the end of this video, and these are all the questions that are in this book tag, and I absolutely enjoy doing this because this is just kind of a reflection to what you have read so far this year, and I absolutely love doing this. So these were all the questions. This is a book tag that I did, and I hope you have enjoyed too, and you can do it too, and if you can reflect back to your reading experience so far this year. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.